Hello, my name is Andrea Capere, and you're watching Mission Nonprofit. Each month, we connect with local organizations and agencies that are making a positive impact in our communities. We've invited Jennifer Herman, Executive Director for the Olympia Symphony Orchestra, to join us to talk about their work in bringing orchestral music to our community. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So your mission is to enrich, educate, and entertain our community?
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes,
okay.
it is.
Tell us how you carry out your mission.
Well, we believe that music really does enrich our lives. It connects us to the past. It helps us to understand where we've come from. It connects us to our community in the present. It gives us an opportunity to have a communal experience with others that are around us. And it gives us hope for a legacy in the future. So we really believe in enriching our community. The way that we're doing that is by making classical music accessible to everybody in our community. Often, you know, the truth is we do have tickets for our concerts, and a lot of people think that that is a barrier. So one of our focuses is in making everything more accessible, and we provide student tickets. We provide free tickets for students that are in free and reduced lunch programs in our county and surrounding counties. We provide discounts for the military. We try to do as much as we can to make classical music accessible. We have a free concert in the summer outside that is really fun for families to attend. So we're fulfilling our mission in enriching by making classical music accessible. In education, we believe firmly in providing opportunities to collaborate with other arts organizations and community organizations. So we have programs where we have mentoring side-by-side rehearsals with our youth orchestra. We have invited the youth chorus of Olympia to be guest artists with us, to experience singing with a professional orchestra. We have master classes with our guest artists that come to town that are internationally acclaimed to educate our students. And we have classes at the senior services for South Sound in music history and music theory. So we're wanting to educate different aspects of our community and bring people closer to music in that way. We enrich and we educate and we entertain. We hope that we are just fun. You know, as deep as these other experiences are, we hope that we are just fun for people, that we can provide an experience where electronics are off and distractions are off, and you just come together in one room and experience something together. So we enrich, we educate, and we entertain.
That's a huge mission, and that's a lot of work. And how many people are in your organization, staffing-wise? Staff-wise,
we have 2 part-time administrative staff. So there's myself, and there's Renee Zimmerman, our administrative assistant. We have a conductor, music director, and then we have some support personnel who take care of our property, our instruments, and a personnel manager and a librarian. But really, it's 2 administrative staff, 3 support staff, our conductor, and we have a board of directors of 13.
That's a bare bones operation for something that brings a lot of value to the community.
It really is.
And it's your 65th anniversary.
It is.
What are you doing to celebrate?
Well, the title of this season is Thinking Big. So our music director, Hugh Edwards, titled the season that because he programmed big orchestral monumental masterpieces, and he wanted to just play big music with big orchestration and celebrate this landmark year for us. For me, thinking big also means thinking about the big community that has supported us for 65 years. To have survived this long in a city this size, I think is something to be very proud of for ourselves and also for our community. We could not do this without community support. So we're using this season to celebrate big music, celebrate the development of our orchestra, and also to celebrate the immense support that we've gotten from the community over a lot of years. So we're being grateful.
Yeah, and Olympia and Thurston County is a arts and music loving community.
It is, and we're very proud to be one of the oldest organizations here. We were incorporated in 1952, but actually our first concert was in 1947. So that was actually 71 years ago. This year is also Hugh Edwards' 15th season with us, so we're celebrating that as well. It's a big year for us.
Okay. And so you had mentioned a lot of the accessibility and, you know, enriching your community through those programs. Can you talk more about some of the programs that you offer?
So a new program this year is called Music for All. And that program is the one that I mentioned briefly. Students, actually entire households that are enrolled in the free and reduced lunch program in Thurston, Mason, and Lewis counties are all eligible for completely free tickets to our concerts, not just for the student, but for the entire household. We offer deeply discounted student tickets to any student, but sometimes it's hard for families to come because...
And so you don't have to be in a music program to take advantage of that?
Not at all, no. You just need to call the office. We don't have any application for the program. We have an online code that we'll share with people who call us. We don't take any personal information, so privacy and dignity is maintained, but we offer completely free tickets. And that's done with the generous underwriting of a sponsor that has sponsored that program, and we're very proud to be able to offer that.
So you shared with me before we sat down here about your history. Can you tell us how did you get started in this line of work? What's your background?
Okay, well, I often say that this job that I have now is the dream job I never knew to dream of. I'm a musician. I'm a professional pianist, and I've been a classical pianist all my life. I taught music theory and piano at South Puget Sound Community College for 10 years, so I'm an educator. And in my core, my soul, I'm a musician and an educator. In 2016, I made a change and started working for the Symphony. Now, the Symphony has always been near and dear to my heart. I did not grow up in symphonic culture being a pianist. I was not part of the string section or the brass section or the woodwind section. So I wasn't in orchestra or band growing up. I was a pianist and often collaborated with other musicians. But I've always loved the Symphony here in Olympia. I've lived here since 2001, and I've been a fan. I've been an audience member in the seats. In 2015, I was asked to be a guest artist with the Olympia Symphony, and I was asked to play a Mozart piano concerto, and so I got to be a soloist. I was deeply honored to be able to perform a solo in my hometown in front of my friends. Most of the musicians are already my friends, so it was a deeply moving experience for me. After that, I just wanted to be part of things with the Symphony. And so I did various jobs for them. At one point, I was the librarian. At one point, I was the personnel manager. And I decided I really wanted to be part of making a difference through the Symphony. I saw the great work that they do. I saw the need in the community to have the Symphony here. Even if there's somebody in our community who doesn't love classical music, they benefit from living in a community that supports a symphony. So even without a taste for classical music, there's some benefit to everybody with the Symphony being here, and I recognized that, and I wanted to be part of that movement. So I started to study nonprofit arts management and realized this is really something that I could do. And as an educator, I'm realizing now that this is almost the same thing as what I did at SPSCC, teaching in a classroom. However, my classroom now has no walls. My classroom now is my town, my city, my neighbors, my community. That's how I ended up here. I'm very grateful.
That's so touching. I love to hear that. So what are some of those shows that are happening this season that you're super excited about? Okay,
well, we have a 5-concert season. So we perform concerts in October, November, February, March, and April. So we've already had 2/5 of our season, and we're heading right into the last 3/5. So we have only 3 shows left in this season. The next one is on February 18th. It's called Closing Remarks, and it's titled that because it features Mozart's Final Piano Concerto and Schubert's Last Symphony. So hence the title, Closing Remarks. It features a pianist from PLU, or she's Russian actually, but she's on faculty at PLU, Oksana Ezhokina. She will be playing the Mozart Piano Concerto, and the Symphony will be accompanying her and then performing Schubert's Final Symphony, which is called the Great C Major. So that's a matinee concert. I'm excited about that. Normally our concerts are at night, but we're experimenting with a matinee in order to address issues that our patrons have communicated with us about walking back to their cars at night and parking and those type of issues that happen downtown. Our concerts at the Washington Center. So we're trying to listen to our patrons and respond. So we have a matinee performance, which is fun, and more families can attend if it's in the middle of the day. Then we have another concert in March, which will feature the Bruch Violin Concerto and Elgar's First Symphony, and that one is called Northern Exposure. And then one that we're all very, very excited about. Not that we're not excited about the other two, but our season finale is on April 22nd, and it features the epic Beethoven's Ninth Symphony. And that is the one that everyone's familiar with the big Ode to Joy, and it's this giant work with choirs. We'll be having the Olympia Choral Society and Timberline High School Symphonic Choir singing with us. The stage will be packed with musicians, and that concert's going to be very exciting. Not only because of that Beethoven, but the concert will open with Mozart's Overture to Don Giovanni, which was the very first piece of music ever played by the Olympia Symphony in 1947.
Oh, wow.
So that concert is titled Coming Full Circle, because we're performing the very first thing ever performed by the OSO. And then after that will be a world premiere of an OSO commissioned piece called Festschrift, written by Austin Schlichting, who is the orchestra director at River Ridge High School in Lacey, and his grandfather was a former conductor of the Olympia Symphony.
It's a family affair.
Yes, so it's very exciting. So we're honoring the past, looking to the future, and with this epic Ode to Joy, we're just ending our season on a big proclamation of joy and gratitude.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
With that, let's take a look at the video that you provided with the review of what's happening this season at the Olympia Symphony Orchestra.
Hello, my name is Hugh Edwards, and I am the conductor and the music director of the Olympia Symphony Orchestra. This season marks a major milestone for the OSO as we celebrate our 65th anniversary, and our mission is to provide the highest quality live music to enrich, educate, and entertain in our community. We are excited to present 5 varied programs this season, which we've called Thinking Big. We will be performing big breakthrough works by famous composers such as Tchaikovsky, Mahler, Schubert, and Beethoven. We have some wonderful guest soloists from the area, flute, violin, piano, and voice, as well as a world premiere piece by a local teacher honoring our 65th birthday. The OSO provides tickets to students and families in the South Sound area, and our tickets start at just $10, so we hope you will come and hear this civic treasure this year at the Washington Center. Thank you so much, and please visit our website, olympiasymphony.org.
So that looks fantastic. I definitely want to attend. Can you tell, we had talked about the future before we took a break to take a look at that video. What's the future look like for the symphony moving forward, past these 65 years, into the next 65?
Well, I believe it looks exciting.
Yeah.
You know, one of the pitfalls, I guess, of an anniversary years, you tend to only look back. You think, oh, 65 years, and we just, you know, what have we done? And that's all well and good, but what I want to do is use that as momentum to move us into the future. I want us to be around for another 65 years and beyond. I don't want classical music to be an art form that dies. And without people continuing to perform it, and without audiences continuing to enjoy it, and without people continuing to talk about it, it will die. So looking into the future, the Olympia Symphony would like to expand our outreach educationally. We are starting to have conversations with educators in the area, finding out what they need from us. What can we do to enhance the young development of musicians in the schools or in private studios? What can we do to help nurture that upcoming generation? In addition to performing music for them, what can we do to interact and to inspire and to help in the raising of young people? So we're looking at educational outreach opportunities. We're also looking at performing outside of this immediate area. All of our concerts currently are at the Washington Center. We have a chamber music series that's at Panorama, so we're able to bring music to that community, but we'd like to do that even more. We'd like to go into more rural areas where maybe there are not as many artistic opportunities and come to their doorstep instead of asking them to come to ours.
Those are great goals. How can the community support the orchestra? I mean, certainly they can buy tickets, but are there other ways?
Yes, of course. So number one, like you said, just come to our concerts. But not just that. What I hope is that the experience does not end when the conductor puts his baton down. What I would love for our audiences to do to support us best is to talk about music, to keep the conversation going. Bring a friend the next time you come to a concert, and keep the enthusiasm and the excitement and the effect that the music had on you alive after you leave the concert hall. That's what we need from people. Many people don't realize that ticket revenue only covers about 30% of what it takes to run the orchestra. We're a professional orchestra. We pay our musicians. And so ticket costs, you know, we try to keep them reasonable, but the ticket sales only cover 30% of what we need. The other 70% we have to raise through donations, through sponsorships, and through grants. And it makes our job a lot easier when we go into the community and try to find community support when the community is already aware of us and they're already aware of the impact that we're having on people's lives, and they're aware of the momentum and the excitement that is generated by people coming to our concerts. So what we ask of people is talk about us, be excited about us after you leave the concert hall. And also to give and to support us. We have a lot of support opportunities for people. One of my favorite programs that we have is our musician sponsorship program, where we connect donors with musicians and bring them together, and the donor knows that they are underwriting the cost of that musician or that chair position. And then we bring them together to interact, and we bring the music makers and the music listeners together, and we humanize the whole experience, because that's what live music is about, and that's what makes it so beautiful, when you get to know the person making the music and you get to know the people that are listening to it, and there's not that wall between the performers and the audience. So if we can engage our audience in conversation, we can engage our audience in shared enthusiasm, that's a huge support and a help for us in raising the necessary money that we need in order to keep going.
And that musician could be your neighbor. So with just a few minutes left, can you share with us maybe any campaigns directly related to donations, or where, where's your website? Any other information that you'd like to share?
Right, so we do have a lot of information on our website. One of the things I'm trying to do is get all of our musicians to be personalized on our website, so that you can kind of go and see what the names are that go with the faces you see on the stage. So please visit our website. It's still a work in progress, but I'm trying to use that as an avenue to get everybody closer together.
What's that address?
It is olympiasymphony.org.
Okay.
Easy to remember. Yeah. Some programs that we have going forward, I did want to mention a little bit more our summer concert that we have. That's the last Sunday of July. I believe it's July 29th this year, but every year it's the last Sunday. And it's at the Capitol on the lawn, and it's outdoors, free, and it's a recap of the season and kind of a prelude to the next season. So I'd really love to encourage people, if they haven't experienced the symphony, or if tickets are a barrier, we do have a free concert, and it's just a really fun way to get introduced. It brings everybody closer together.
Yeah. Well, that sounds like a great way to get started.
Yes.
Well, thank you very much for joining us tonight.
Thank you so much for having me.
That's all we have for you. You can see Mission Nonprofit on Channel 77 on Sundays at 4:30 p.m., Tuesdays at 7 p.m., Thursdays at 7:30 p.m., and Saturdays at 6:30 p.m. You can also catch us online at tcmedia.org. See you next time.